Okay, we start the class. In a previous class, we discussed about linear data structures. So today we are going to discuss example of linear data structures using arrays. Array is also an example of linear data structures. Arrays. Is it visible? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah, we know that what is an array? Array is a collection of similar type values. Okay, so we can say it is a fixed size sequential memory location. Fixed size sequential memory location. So that means array can store the elements which can be stored in a sequential order, and this array is a fixed size, means we have to say the size of the array before going to use. Okay, so this is about the array. You know that so array is a collection of similar type elements, and it is a fixed size sequential memory. Okay, so how to declare the array? For example, if you want to declare individual elements, then we can write a data type and a variable name. Then we can initialize the value for that. Here array is also same thing. So to declaring the array. So to declare the array, we have the syntax. First data type and array name, and here square brackets. Within the square brackets we have to give the size. That means how many elements you want to declare. Okay, that in this way we can declare the array of this size. This array can store the size number of elements. For example, if you give size is 10, then 10 number of elements it can store. Okay, in this way. For example, if you want to store student names, then we can declare an array. Otherwise, you want to store student elements, student roll numbers, then we can write here int roll number. The size is 20 I am giving. That means this array can hold 20 student roll numbers, all the integer values, similar type, all the integer values. If it is the name, all are the character type values. Okay, now like that we can declare a variable. So how many types of variables we have? How many types of arrays we have? See here, one dimensional array, two dimensional array, and multi-dimensional arrays we have. So this is above is known as a one dimensional array. Okay, here types of array we see. We have one dimensional array that we call as a 1D array, and a 2D array, like that. ND array also we have. ND array. Okay, so first whatever we declared here, this is a one dimensional array. Okay, now we can see this, how to declare this one dimensional array, and how to initialize the values, and how to access those values, that we will see now. First one dimensional array. So one dimensional array declaration, already we saw the syntax. Data type data type and array name. Array name. Then we give the size. Okay, this is a one dimensional array declaration. So this is a syntax. Then example is int. For example, if it is a balance, then we write a balance array we are creating 20. This is so this is how to initialize using a C++. In C++, how to assign the values to this. So we can assign the values as a individual, otherwise while declaring also. Okay, here int, for example, we are taking here balance. So balance is equal, then within the curly braces we can write balance is for example 1000. Okay, so when it is a balance, so we can take this is a double or float. Okay, now so because it is a currency, when it is the currency, then we can take a 1000.00 like that. So depending on the data, we have to take the data type. Okay, so then 300.00 next 1535.50, then next 1500.50, then curly braces close. See how many elements we declared is the one element, two element, three element, four. That means here the array size is 4. Here we didn't mention the size. So when we are declaring and immediately we are assigning, automatically the size will be assigned to here. Okay, that means these values, these elements are indexed from 0. That means this 0th element is the first element, this is first element, second element, third element. These are the indices. Okay, 0th, first, second, third. But the size means size is a four elements. Size is a 4 elements, but index array indices starts from 0 to size minus 1. That is, so this is the elements. So how to initialize, if you are not doing this, if you are not initializing like this, then we have to declare and then we can initialize. Double balance, we are not initializing here, only declaring. If you are doing like this, just we have to give here the size compulsory. Again, if you are not initializing the values, then we can initialize balance indices 0, first element is equal to 1000. Then balance first element, this is a 0th element over, then first element is this is 300.0. Okay, then next balance, this is a second index element is equal to that is 35.50. Yeah, then next balance the third index element, that is 1500.50. Like this we can initialize the elements in the array. Okay, this is a one dimensional array. One dimensional array will be initialized like this. Then how these elements will be stored in a data in memory. So how these elements are stored, see I will show you. Whatever the elements we are taking, all these elements can be stored in a sequential order. In this, if you think this is the memory location, then this memory location is divided into 4 parts here. So just we can think this is the 0th, the first, then next this is the second, this is the third. So just we can take this is the 0th element, first element, second index element, third index element, like that. Those values will be stored. What are the values we take here? Say first one is the right. So first one is a 1000. Then 1000 will be stored here. 0. Then second one is a 300. So then 300 in a sequential order in the memory, while these elements will be stored. 300. This is then next 35.50. Then next 1500.50. Like that, like this the values will be stored. Okay, this is a 0 index, first index, second index, third index values. Anybody? Some voice came? Any doubt? Okay, if you have any doubt, you can send on the chart. Okay, this is initializing the values of a one-dimensional array and then accessing the elements. How to access these elements in C++? Accessing the elements. Okay, so we can access individual elements and also all the array at a time also. So if you want to access individual elements, then now we can take, for example, these are the double top values. Double x is equal to, I want this third index element only, third index element. Then now we can write a balance of a third. This is, that means whatever the third index element, the element will be stored in x. The element will be stored in x. Okay, like that. So it is accessing the individual elements, any element, individual elements. Any element, if you want to access in this way, you can access and you can store in another variable also. So if you want to access complete array at a time, whole array. If you want to access all array at a time, we can use a for loop. For this is we can take int I is equal to from 0. This I is used to iterate the indices from 0 to 3. So I took first one is a 0th element, then up to I less than or equal to 3. Otherwise I less than 4. I less than or equal to 3. That means 0th element, first element, second element, third. Okay, 0th index element, first index element, second index element, third index element. So then I plus plus. Okay, then now if you want to print, you can print. Otherwise you want to process some any processing, then you can do. So just I can write for printing purpose. We write here balance of I. Okay, then now we can take a tab /t. Just it takes some space. Right. So this is all the elements. If we want to print, then we can access like this. Or individual element you want to use like this, we can access. This is about the one-dimensional array. Okay, one-dimensional array. So what is the size here? The size is 4. 4 elements are there. The size is 4. But indices, to access the elements, we can use the indices. The indices are starts from 0 to 3. See, while declaring in this way, declaring and initializing is different in two lines. The first line we wrote here, this is a declaration. While declaring, we can give the size, number of elements are 4, that is the size. But while initializing the elements or accessing the elements, then we can start from 0 to size minus 1. The size is 4, 4 minus 1, 3. That is 0 to size minus 1. That indices we can take like this. Again, this is, so remember that size and indices about the one-dimensional array. Then we go for the two-dimensional arrays. Here two-dimensional arrays we can declare in the way of rows and columns. We think as rows and columns. Okay, so that means here this is a one-dimensional array. So in a two-dimensional array, like this, if you assume a memory, These are the columns. These are the columns. Yeah, then next, these are the rows. Okay, right. So these columns, C zeroth column, column 0. Okay, yeah, then next, this is C first column, first index column. Then next, this is C2, this is C3, this is C4. Next, these are the rows. Row 0, zeroth index row. Then next, row 1, 1 index row. Then this is a 2 index row. So how many rows and how many columns are there? Here 3 rows and 5 columns are there. 3 rows, 5 columns. See, number of columns are 5, but indices starts from 0 to 4. Here 3 rows are there, but indices starts from 0 to 2. Okay, this is known as a two-dimensional array. So two-dimensional array is also known as a multi-dimensional array or n-dimensional ND array also. That is okay. So how to declare this? Two-dimensional array can store as a rows and columns. Okay, now just we can take a statement. Two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array can store elements as rows and columns. Rows and columns. Okay. Right. So how to declare this array? Declaration. Declaration in C++. How to declare this means, so first is the data type. Then next array name. Then first rows and columns. J. Rows are denoted by I, columns are denoted by J. In this way we can declare the two-dimensional array. So example we take. Example, see here, we write here, it's better, row size. This is a row size, then this is a column size. Column size. Okay, right. We can take, for example, integer values. Int array name. We can take that array name is A. Then size 4 rows. Just we wrote 3 rows. Just we can take 3 rows and 5 columns. 3 rows and 5 columns. Yeah, this is declaring the array. Okay, so declaration array takes the rows, number of rows and the number of columns. So then now we want to insert the elements. That means we have to initialize the values. How to initialize? The initialization of the two-dimensional array. Initialization. So first we can take int a of 3 and 5. Sorry, right. A of 3 comma 5. Here we can take a is equal to, in a single way initialization. How to initialize in a single line? So first we can take a complete array in this. How many rows are there? 3 rows are there, 5 columns are there. 3 rows. First row, comma, second row, comma, third row. Okay, this is first row. This complete is the first row elements, second row elements, third row elements. So each row contains the 5 elements. For example, see here we can take a 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40 comma 50. So these are 10 elements. These are 5 elements. We have 5 elements in a first row. In the second row contains same thing, 60 comma 70 comma 80 comma 90 comma 20, how many elements? 5 elements over. Next third row, yeah, third row also contains 5 elements. These 5 elements, so we can take any element 11 comma 23 comma 34 comma 45 comma 55. Okay, this is the initialization of the array in a single line. Okay, right. In this column is a zeroth index column. Zeroth index column, this is the first index, sorry, row. This is zero index row, this is the first index row, then this is the second index row. Next columns, this is a zero index column, first index, second, third index, fourth index, 0 to 4, like that. All this is a 0 1 2 3 4, next 0 1 2 3 4, like that. Elements will be stored. You understand, I think. This is from here 10, first row 10, 20, okay, 30, 40, 50. So first row is over. Then second row, it contains 60, 70, 80, 90, okay, like that. Again 20. Okay, here this also contains the elements. What we take 11, 12, like that, 23, 34, 44 or 45, like that elements. Okay, that you have to understand. Zeroth element, first element, first zeroth column, first column, second column, third column, fourth column. This is known as initializing the array in a single way. So if you want to initialize in another way, I can stop this video. Okay, now how to initialize means first we have to declare, is the way 1. Then we can take another way 2. In the way 2, first we have to declare a of 3, 5. Then we should use a for loop to initialize the elements also. Okay, so then how to use the for loop? For int I less than, this is the rows starts from 0, I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to 3, then I plus plus is the rows. Then iterate the columns also. For int j is equal to 0, j less than or equal to how many columns? 5 columns. Then j plus plus. Then we can initialize using the C in a of I j. Okay, this is the way to initialize the second way. Okay, right. This is the initializing the two-dimensional array. Okay, then we go for the accessing the elements. How to access those elements? Accessing the elements. Okay, to access the elements, so individual elements also we can access, and complete array also we can access. So first individual elements accessing. So how to access individual elements? All these are the integer values. Then we can take int x is equal to which element you want to access. This 90 you want. So 90 you want means which index it is. See, for example, this is array a array. So what is the which row this is? So this is completely is a 0 index This is the first index. First row index. First row. Then what is the column number? What is the column number of 90? This is a 0, 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay, in this way we can access that 90 will be stored in X. Then we can process that. Otherwise, in the second way, complete whole array accessing by using the for loop. By using the for loop, we can access complete array also. So here instead of C in, we can write C out. The elements will be stored. Then now we can take here some tab. Then here we write a C out /n. This for loop 0 to 3 elements, 0 to 5 elements are accessing. These accessing elements we are printing as a matrix way. Okay, this is a two-dimensional array. Okay, one-dimensional array and a two-dimensional array accessing this is. So we can access a n-dimensional array also. Okay, now how we are declaring the n-dimensional array? The size, the declaration. So I will show you. The n-dimensional array is also known as multi-dimensional array. So this we can declare like this: array data type, and here ND array, multi-dimensional array, multi-array. I can write here the size. See first the size is here size 1. Size 1, then next size 2, okay, then next size 3. Like that we can give size n. This is a multi-dimensional array declaration. Example, for example, if you are taking a int values, the arrays we can take arrays or y array, then we can take here sizes 3, 4, 5, like we can give. This is a multi-dimensional array. Okay, the number of this we can think multi-dimensional array means not only the rows and columns, there are any number of dimensions are increases. Okay, number of dimensions are increases. Then how to access means here for loops will be increase. Two-dimensional array, 2 for loops we used. Here n-dimensional array, n for loops we can use to access and also the initializing the elements. Okay, this is about the arrays in the data structures, how to use. These are the linear data structures. These linear data structures can store the elements in a linear way. Okay, then it is important to understand how to calculate the memory. Okay, now memory address calculation, how these are storing and which address is storing the which element. That I will show here. See, is it visible for you? Just give me answer. Is it visible for you? Can I increase the size, font size? Are you listening my voice? Are you listening my voice?
No, sir.
It's not visible.
No.
Okay, I can increase somewhat here. Now, okay. Right. See here, this is the memory elements 15, 7, 11, 44, 93, 20. These are the elements, array elements, and these array elements are stored in these addresses 1100, 1104, 1108, 1112, 1116, 1120. These are the addresses of the memory addresses. The first address is 1100 is known as a base address. This is the base address. That first address is known as a zeroth index element address is known as a base address. Then next is size. Size means here 1112, 1116. What is the size? How many difference? How much difference is there? 4 bytes difference is there. 4 bytes. That means the width of the memory is the 4 bytes. Okay, so here to here 4 bytes, 4 bytes, 4 bytes, 4 bytes, like that. The width is the 4 bytes elements, like that. How much, what is the, if you are taking the integer values, then integer will take 4 bytes, then it takes 4 bytes width. If it is taking 2 bytes, then it takes the 2 bytes width. Then zeroth, this is known as a subscript. Subscript is the lower limit, and this is the upper bound. Upper limit is the lower boundary and upper boundary of the elements. This is a fixed size 0 to 5. That means 6 elements are fixed. Okay, the first element. Okay, the first element is 0th element. This is like this array will be stored in that. So if you want to know a of I means you want to find the size of the ith element. Okay, ith element size, ith element memory address you want to know. Ith element address, ith element array of an element of an array, say a of I is calculated using this formula. So if you want to find the address of this ith element, then we have to use this formula. Okay, now B means base address, W means width, I means ith index, LB means lower boundary of that array. Okay, now example, see, this is the formula. Then now we will see one example here. See, given the base address of an array, this is array, actual array. The base address is, this is 1020. The base address of an array B is 1020, and the size of each element is 2 bytes. That means W is 2 bytes. The array in the memory, find the address of this is. That means here I value is, this is 1700. See, we are taking the values. The given value are B is equal to 1020. That is the base address. Lower boundary is 1300. See here, this is the lower boundary. Lower boundary is, this is base address is 1020. The next width is 2 bytes. As given that each element, the size of the each element is 2 bytes. That means the width will be 200. Next we want to find a 1700th element address. That is I is equal to 1700. 1700th element address we want to find. Okay, we need to find that. So now the I value is the 1700. I think you are understanding. B is 1020 base address. Lower boundary is the 1300. Here lower boundary. The next width is 2 bytes. I is equal to 700. Substitute those values in the formula. A of I, that means A of 1700. 1700th element address we can find by substituting in this. Then we are getting that 1820. 1820 is the address. The 1820 address nothing but here 1100, 1104, 1108 like that came now. So like that, if you find in this array, the 1700th element address will be is 1820. Okay, this is about the single dimensional array. So we have a 2-dimensional array also. Okay, now for the 2-dimensional array, the array will be stored in this columns and rows. So how these elements will be stored in the memory? See, we are observing here. If you find, we can write columns and rows, but in the memory, all the elements will be stored in a single line arrangement. In the memory single line arrangement. These single line arrangement will be done in 2 ways. The first one is a row measure, second one is a column measure. So if it is a row measure, we call it as a row wise arrangement. This arrangement will be done on the memory. For example, you think this is the memory. In this memory, the elements will be stored row wise. Row wise means the first row elements. 8654. The 8654 will be stored. After then it will come to the next row 2197. The next row 3642. the memory will be stored in this way only. Okay, now we can't see in the on the RAM how those are storing, we can't see, but we can feel it. So we can represent like this, we can represent like this, okay, now logically, but physically the values will be stored on the memory in this way only. Okay, this is a row measure. Row measure means row wise. Then second one is a column measure. When it is the column measure, column wise 8 2 3 first column, then next 6 1 6 6 1 6 second column, third column, fourth column. This column wise the values will be stored. Okay, this is so if you if we represent these two-dimensional array in this way, row measure or column measure, how to calculate the address? To calculate the addresses, we have two ways. First one is the row measure. If it is storing in the row measure, then this is the formula. Yeah, see in this formula, see a of I comma j. That means ith row jth column element address we want to find. Ith row jth column element address. For that formula is base address plus width, base address width into the next n. N means number of columns. N means number of columns. I means the here the element index. The next this is LR. Lower boundary of the row. This is the lower boundary of the row. The next J means the column of the element.
Index of column subs index.
The next LC means lower boundary of the column. Okay, so using this formula we can calculate address. Then next, if it is the column wise, then here change will be the number of columns. Here number of columns, this is the number of rows. E plus W into next this I minus LR plus M into J minus LC. Okay, now here we need not to calculate with them. Here columns are multiplied with the rows. Here rows are multiplied with the columns. Okay, this is B means a base address, I means row subscript, J means a column subscript, W means the size, the width, the next lower limit of the row, next lower limit of the column. M means number of rows, N means the number of columns in a given index. So one example also here. Mostly if we get the problem, we will get like this. This is the problem I will show you. Right. Like this. This array, it is representing like this. Minus 15 dot dot 10, 15 dot 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 40. That means here this is the lower boundary of the row. This is the upper boundary. This is the lower boundary of the column. This is the upper boundary of the column. Okay. So these are the rows. These are the columns. Again, if you want to find a number of rows and number of columns, then upper boundary minus lower boundary. This is upper boundary minus lower boundary. Then we can find the number of rows and number of columns. Okay. So in mathematical way, it represents the array like this only. Okay. With the lower boundary of rows, upper boundary of rows, lower boundary of columns, upper boundary of columns. Then we can find the number of rows and number of columns. See, we have a problem here. Right. This problem to find see here, if the beginning of the location is 1500, determine the location of the this row and 15th row, 20th column element address we need to find. Okay, so then we can take here number of rows. Number of rows means just we say number of rows means upper boundary of row, lower boundary of row. Okay, that 26. Then same thing. Then we can substitute in the formula in the column measure. Then we can substitute in the column measure formula. This is a column measure formula. So the values are stored in the column measure. Then it is substituted in the column measure formula. If the values are stored in a row measure wise, then we can substitute in the row measure formula. Then you can practice this by calculating. Okay, you will find the address of that element. Okay. Okay. Today's class is this is. Thank you.